In this video, we'll have a look at a non-linear graph called the parabola. Let's start off by having a look at a couple of features of the parabola. The first is that they're all symmetrical. So in this parabola, you'll be able to draw a line down the middle, and it will be the same on both sides as if you're holding up a mirror. Each parabola will have a maximum or a minimum depending on its shape. So the maximum and the minimum is also known as the turning points. So in our example, you can see that down the bottom, the parabola has a turning point at 0. And that also lines up to the line of symmetry. The last feature of parabolas is that they all have the basic same shape. However, they can be wider or narrower depending on the equation, and they can also move around the Cartesian plane depending on the equation. So let's have a look at how to sketch a parabola using the basic formula y equals x squared. When you sketch a parabola, the best way of sketching it is using a table of values. The steps required to sketch a parabola. The first one is to create a table of values with your nominated x values along the top. Then you use the rule to complete the table of values. Draw a Cartesian plane. Then you plot the points from your table of values onto the Cartesian plane. Join the points to form a curved line and finish off by labeling the graph. This is the same method that you would use to sketch a linear line using a table of values, except your end result will not be a straight line, but a curved line forming a parabola. So let's have a look at an example. So in the example, I'm going to sketch the parabola y equals x squared, and I've created a table of values and nominated my x values along the top from -3 to +3. So for each x value, I want to go ahead and calculate my y value. So using x equals -3 as my first value, y is going to equal -3 squared, which equals 9. And remember, when you're squaring a negative number, because you are timesing two negative numbers together, it will be a positive. And the next is going to be x equals -2. So when that happens, y is going to equal to -2 squared, which equals 4. Then my next value is going to be x equals -1. So y equals -1 squared, which equals 1. And then my next value is going to be 0. 0 squared is 0. Completing my table of values, my next x value is going to be 1. So y equals 1 squared equals 1. Then y equals 2 squared, which is equal to 4. And y equals 3 squared, which is equal to 9. So now that I've completed my table of values, the next step is to plot those points on my Cartesian plane and then join up my points with a curved line. So starting at -3 and +9, then -2 and 4, -1 and 1, 0, 0, 1 and 1, 2 and 4, 3 and 9. So once I've plotted my points, joining them to form a curved line. And don't forget to label it to finish it off, y equals x squared. So that's the most basic parabola that you'll be able to sketch. And just having a look, our line of symmetry is our y-axis, and our turning point is 0. That's where the line turns around and starts increasing again. So that's an example of how do we sketch a parabola using the basic y equals x squared.